The official translation of chapter 358 had put a lot of things into a much better perspective. For starters, I was questioning how it was that someone like Morris was able to fight toe-to-toe with Mereoleona in her strongest form yet, Hellfire Incarnate. Like, I know, becoming a paladin gives you a major boost in power, and I could believe that that boost would be enough to make him stand on par with possibly the most powerful captain in the entire Clover Kingdom. But with Neverland active, giving Mereoleona a major boost as well as making Morris much weaker, something wasn't adding up, and I absolutely refuse to believe that this utter trash of a character was so much more powerful than our favorite lioness that even after he was nerfed and she received a major buff, that it all resulted in the two of them being just about even. And there was just no way that that could be the case, and the official translation proved my doubts by making it much more clear that what had happened was that Morris, using his magic, had dispelled Neverland in the area that the Crimson Lion Kings were in by destroying the fairies it created. So neither him or Mereoleona are buffed or nerfed in their battle. It also means that Fuegoleon isn't either, which makes what he's currently doing much more impressive. Because this man, this suave Chad of a character without any buffs or a Spirit Dive transformation, is soloing at least 5 angels. And while we don't know exactly how strong an individual angel is, we do know that they are too powerful for anyone other than the captains to take on without a boost from Neverland in a 1v1, let alone a 1v5. So yeah, props to Fuegoleon for beating the useless allegations put on him by the leaks and the unofficial translation. And speaking of, in the unofficial translation, the chapter ends with the implication that Mereoleona plans to burn Morris to death even if it costs her life to do so. While in the official translation, Mereoleona says that she'll burn away the life of both herself and Morris, implying that she intends to die alongside him. And while the official translation does slightly change the context when it comes to predicting what Mereoleona plans to do in the next chapter, both translations do ultimately make sense for her character. Because while Mereoleona comes off as a typical meathead character who only cares about fighting strong opponents and pushing her limits, she does genuinely care about her squad mates. And after watching dozens of them sacrifice their lives to protect her from Morris in the last chapter, Mereoleona is definitely not in the best state of mind. Combined with the knowledge that her body is already breaking apart, either due to Morris's magic or the side effects of overusing Hellfire Incarnate, Mereoleona is determined to take Morris out even at the cost of her own life. But given how things have developed so far, it's quite obvious that her attack won't be enough to take down this paladin, which leaves us with 2 possible scenarios. Scenario number 1, Mereoleona tragically dies, and in her death, we see Fuegoleon, enraged by the deaths of both his older sister and the dozens of members of his squad, swears to avenge them and take down Morris, leading to him doing what fans have been calling for ever since Salamander chose him back during the Elf arc, finally unlocking the Spirit Dive when the two eventually clash. And then there's scenario number 2, where instead of Mereoleona dying, Fuegoleon jumps in and takes Morris's final attack for her, with a very emotional goodbye scene between the two and him passing on Salamander to either her or Leo. And you know what, I realized while I was writing the script for this video exactly how insanely heartbreaking that would be for Leo. Because as far as we know, he's not currently in the Clover Kingdom, which means that if Salamander were to be passed on to him, he would just suddenly appear wherever Leo is, making him realize that his older brother had died and he wasn't there to help him. It'd truly be one of the most tragic things we've seen in the entirety of Black Clover. But as I already mentioned in my theory video about Leo's role in this final saga, Fuegoleon's death could be exactly what pushes him to finally reaching his full potential. And I guess there is a scenario where Mereoleona's attack actually does land, finishing Morris off and she somehow survives, but this is quite obviously the part of the saga where things are supposed to reach an all-time low for the good guys, and many of the more powerful characters are supposed to fall, so I don't see the Tabata writing that to be the outcome. Although, since it seems like Mereoleona might be a favorite of Tabata's, I wouldn't be surprised if she does end up surviving this battle, which I guess means that scenario 2 is the most likely outcome. So with that in mind, let's all get ready to say our tearful farewells to the most honorable man in the Clover Kingdom, Captain of the Crimson Lion Kings, Fuegoleon Vermilion.